So, carrying on with this Holy Grail bit. So here's the next bit. It says, we also see why the Grand Masters of the Priority of Sion, that's the French bit, which I'm sure is tied in with all these attacks going on over there in France, as guardians of the Grail. It's interesting that they're guardians of the Grail and you have these attacks going on in France. Would have been called navigators as well as the lodestone. Okay, so we're back to this sexual reference. Lodestone is sacred to the Freemasons. Why? Because all of their things are penis shaped for the most part. They got some girly stuff in there, but most of it's that. Okay? The inheritors of that tradition. What has not been explained is why the Grail is associated with the bloodline. Because the Grail is abroad. It's a bloodline of somebody that got knocked up. It isn't a real cup. It's somebody that got knocked up. That's why it's associated with the bloodline, because somebody is carrying the gene that probably goes, I'm sure it goes back to the whole Saturnian thing from the very beginning. So with that being said, I'll continue on with that later. But I'm going to kind of show you something. See this list here? This is from that show called My Name is Earl, about a bad guy who wanted to make things right. And he had a list. And in his list, they just showed for a second or two at the beginning, but I wanted to do this one. Here's 6 and 3. Wasted electricity. Well, the 6 and the 3 are suspicious to begin with. But I'm going to try and explain to you why, and they don't tell you this. I know this is the fact, because they're not telling you the truth about what they consider to be God and who you're worshiping and all of this stuff. Because we live in an electrical world. Remember the woman that was stuck in a cage that said, "Oh, fake God of electricity"? That is the one that they have everybody tied into through all the religions. That being the case, wasted electricity isn't like leaving your light switch on, or not, forgetting to turn off at the TV. What that's in reference to is the church tells people not to pleasure themselves, so to speak. You're not supposed to jerk off. And the reason is, going back to the video I told you the day before, to animate semen for a man, the feeling at orgasm, that electrical shock that goes through your spine, which people call ecstasy, or another biblical word for that is rapture. Okay? That electricity activates the semen and creates its ability to create life. So, if you do that, and all men do, if you do that and you don't procreate, going back to the Catholic, don't wear rubber type thing, so you make babies, you by their standards, you're stealing from God, because you've taken some electricity, you've benefited from it because of the feeling of the orgasm, and you gave nothing back. You see? So I'm not saying this is right. I'm telling you this is the way they think. So you got to feel good, but you gave nothing back. So you stole electricity or wasted it. You understand? So them rewriting this, they don't understand why this isn't ingrained into the Holy Grail, the lodestone. When a man has an orgasm, that's called the load. Guys always talk rude like that and say, "Oh, I'd like to blow my load all over that chick's face," or whatever. The stone is your nuts. Okay, this is about a bloodline, this thing. This is about a bloodline that goes way, way back to the very beginning, and about who wants to be in control of it. That's what the whole story about Jesus was out of the Old Testament. I'm not saying that this is Jesus they're talking about. I'm saying that's what that whole story was. And so it's kind of silly that somebody that would have this kind of knowledge you know, would write, oh, we can't understand what the connection is. They fucking know. The priority of Scion. You can go look it up. This is a story about sex. It's a story about a bloodline and who's in control of what. But I'll continue on with more of that tomorrow. So I just wanted to let you know why they got 6 and 3. All they're missing is a 9, because that's, 6 and 3. A 9. Wasted electricity.